All right, it's Lamaku Challenge 7. We are headed down the home stretch. And the next couple challenges are where we actually start working on the various activities within Lamaku. So today we'll start with assignments, tomorrow will be discussions, and the next challenge will be quizzes. So generally, the interface of creating any of those activities follows the same pattern, but each of them also have their own little intricacies. So while there is basic how to create an assignment, a discussion, a quiz, video, and info from Detail Brightspace, we're going to focus on the intricacies that you need to be aware of in each of the activities. So here we go. Similar to grades, you're going to create categories for your assignments. Now, this really only applies if you have more than one assignment type in assignments. So if you do, we're going to go ahead and create some categories. This just helps keep it better organized for students. So here we are in assignments. And again, this really only applies if you have multiple types of assignments in your course. Some instructors do, some don't. But if you have multiple assignments similar to grades, we're going to create categories for those assignments. So to get started, you're actually going to come down to where it says Edit Categories, even though we don't have any categories on this page. And this is where you can add the category. So for example, I just created 3 different categories. So in my mythical instructor world, perhaps I have several weekly reflections in my class, perhaps I have a final project, and perhaps I have lab drawings that I have my students submit. I can go ahead and create the categories. And again, this is just so when your students click on assignments, they're not overwhelmed with everything just randomly thrown on the page, but things are organized, and this will give them peace of mind and be able to clearly see what is what. As we talked about before in grades, the next thing we'll do is to be sure to link those activities we're creating in assignments to grades. And then, of course, make sure that we program the correct grade category. This way, we have totally synced up all of our assignments, we've organized them, they're linked to grades, and the grades are also organized. So right now I am in grades and I am in the various categories. So you can see I have an assignment called Planning Your Schedule. Yet I need to go ahead and link that activity to what you see here, the assignment Planning Your Schedule, because it's not currently linked. So here I am in the actual assignment. It is in edit mode. And I've made it worth 20 points, but you see that it is not in the gradebook. So I would use the dropdown and I would go ahead and I would link to the existing grading category that we already created. Your assignments, your discussions, and your quizzes link to the gradebook that way. So I will click Edit or Link to Existing. And I could create the new item, but I know that one already exists. And yep, there it is. Planning my schedule under assignment, it is listed there, and I will go ahead and make the link. And now I know that the activity is linked. And I can see that it is linked because I have that little badge that appears that says grade item planning your schedule. The final step now is we're going to link this activity with the actual category we created. So we'll go ahead and we'll put planning your schedule under weekly reflection, and then we'll save. And that way this activity gets filed under the appropriate category. Another area to focus on is going to be making sure that we assign a due date for each assignment so that those due dates appear in the calendar for students. And if students have opted into notifications, they can receive a notification reminder 2 days before an assignment is due. But the system needs to know when the activity is due. So we'll put in the due date, and then we always want to make sure that we have made the assignment visible. We've turned on the eyeball, so to speak. I'm back in the edit mode in the assignment, and I could go ahead and simply enter a due date here. Again, due dates apply to assignments and quizzes, but unfortunately not discussions at this point in time. DTL Brightspace is working on that. If I go to the calendar for the course now, I can also verify, yes, there is my due date planning your schedule. I can see when it's due, and that corresponds to the settings I just created. The last area is just a small detail, but it's an important one. We want to make sure the activity is visible. However, if you choose to delay releasing the activity, the assignment to your students, that's when you would use start dates. If I had, say, a face-to-face class and I wanted to release an activity to students but only have a several day window for them to complete the activity, I could use start and end dates. So the visibility always has to be on, but you can restrict students from accessing the actual assignment by using a start date. Keep in mind, a start date for a particular activity, like an assignment, is different than your module availability. So you could open a module or week in Lamaku and not make an assignment available until later in the week. Pretend you have a class and the module opens on a Sunday or Monday, but you want to make sure students cover the content and you want to release the assignment on Thursday. You could go ahead and make the module available to students, but by using the start date, you can restrict students from accessing the activity until you want them to. The last area I want to check on is if my activity is visible, because by default, not all activities in Lamaku are visible once you create them. So I look at the bottom of the page and I see the eyeball is indeed visible, which means the activity will show to students. If it's hidden, this is what I would see. So I would simply click to make the activity visible and save, and I'd be good to go. I can even see from the main assignments page, the index, that I have the little cross out eyeball. So that's why it's important to double check that your activities are published so that they will be available for students when students actually need to use them. Okay, so that was assignments. If you have completed all of our tasks, you understand each of the little nuances of assignments, go ahead and check all of the kukui. And you are done for today. Just a few more challenges left. Congratulations.